There are currently two very popular methods for progressing through the atlas, called the top-down method and the bottoms-up method. The top-down method states that you should run the highest tier map that you have. I find this strategy causes you to run very quickly into the very high tiers and then run down very low because you don't have very much sustain because you don't have any atlas passives and you're not working on sustain at all. I find this strategy is inconsistent and honestly quite scary while playing any sort of hardcore and just feels bad to play overall. Bottoms up is you'll always run the lowest tier map that you have so that you get completion for it, and then you'll run higher tiers. So this strategy states that you should run all your tier 1s before running tier 2s, all your tier 2s before running tier 3s. This is kind of how maps used to be ran because it's very safe and consistent. The issue is that it's very slow. The new strategy is to run maps with the diagonal strat. So this is the new one. Basically, because a map boss can drop any map that's 2 tiers or 2 tiers higher than the map you're currently running, you never want to run a map unless it's to get a map tier that's 2 tiers higher. And once you have a map that's 2 tiers higher, it'll give you the ability to run maps that are 2 tiers lower than that. So here, I'll give you an example since it's a bit confusing. Let's say that you enter into maps and you have a choice between 2 maps. You're going to choose the one that you prefer more, which is alleyways in this situation. Doesn't really matter. You get a couple of tier 2s. You're going to run the tier 2 you prefer more. So let's say you run this because you like grotto more. You're not going to run this tier 1. You're not going to run this tier 2. You're going to run... Let's say you run this tier 2 and you drop a tier 3, so you're going to run this one third. Now this is a really ideal situation. You immediately ran straight up to tier 3s. So you completed tier 3. This allows you to go back and complete your tier 1s. So now you can go back and complete your scriptorium. You can go back and complete your bone crypt. And remember, you don't want to run tier 2s until you complete a map that's 2 tiers higher, so you want to get over to tier 4s. While doing these 3 maps, you got a tier 3 fields again, because probably one of these dropped one of those, so one of these tier 1s can drop a tier 3. You got a couple tier 2s as well. So next, you're going to want to run the tier 3 because you want to get to tier 4. So you run the tier 3, you get to tier 4. So you run the tier 4 7th. Perfect. Now you go back and run your tier 2s. You do not want to run this tier 2 again because you've already ran it for completion. So out of all these maps that you can run for completion, you don't run this one. Hopefully this strategy, or hopefully this explanation clears it up and it doesn't make it more confusing for anybody. Lastly, I wanted to talk about the atlas here. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the atlas that you can undertake. So in Exarch and Eater speedruns, we go with something like this, like a wandering path tree. I think this is really excessive as you pretty much do not need, as you don't need wandering path and you don't need every single map wheel. I do recommend taking at least 2 out of 4 of these map wheels until you get some void stones, as it'll make sustaining maps much easier. If you want to go for all 4 of these, go ahead. I would only really recommend this if you're quite slow at progressing through maps and you hate going down in maps in any way, shape, or form, but I think this is going to be fine. Other than this, you just take any atlas nodes that you really like, so maybe you like doing essences, so you'll take these, and then you get easy access to these. After doing this, obviously you can unspec a lot of these nodes. I think that Carrick is pretty mandatory just because it helps fill out those holes in your atlas without having to buy any. So even SSF, you should be able to get full completion. That's going to be it for me. If you're catching this video when it goes up, I should be live right now on TiTiKiller, or twitch.tv/TiTiKiller. So check me out there. If I'm not, I'm sleeping and getting ready for League Start. Good luck, everyone. Bye, everyone. Bye.